Back in our last episode, we met Dov Moran, the Israeli inventor of the USB flash drive, and traced how his innovation, though born in Israel, came to life through Taiwan's manufacturing ecosystem. From Hello Kitty-shaped USBs to contract chip makers in Hsinchu, that episode explored how one little gadget reshaped how Asia stored and shared data. But that was only half the story. Today, in part 2, we talk about something even harder than inventing a device, building a company. Dov opens up about his journey as an entrepreneur and why Taiwan and Israel might just be kindred spirits when it comes to cultivating startups. Hi, you're listening to Beyond the Reefs, a show produced by Radio Taiwan International. Here we talk about socioeconomic issues that are faced by Taiwan and their broader impact around the world beyond the reefs of this island nation. Asia's startup scene has exploded in the past decade. In 2023, the region accounted for over 40% of global venture funding. Singapore, often ranked amongst the world's top innovation hubs, continues to attract fintech and biotech ventures thanks to generous government grants and a robust regulatory framework. South Korea's emphasis on R&D and global exports has led to a thriving tech ecosystem, supported by major players like Samsung and Naver investing in accelerators. Even Malaysia's making waves, with state-backed funds like Cradle and partnerships across ASEAN to boost local founders. Taiwan, meanwhile, is known for more hardware than hype, but that's changing. Taipei's startup scene is gaining traction, especially in AI, semiconductors, and green energy. Programs like Taiwan Tech Arena and initiatives from the National Development Council are creating pathways for entrepreneurs to test, fail, and try again. And fail they will, because entrepreneurship is brutally hard. According to CB Insights, 70% of startups globally fail by year 10. Founders often trace rejections, burnouts, and instability long before they even taste success. That's why this episode hits differently, because Dov Moran doesn't sugarcoat it. He shares what it really takes to go from idea to IPO, and why resilience, not just brilliance, might be the most underrated trait of all. Dov Moran is known as the inventor of the USB flash drive and founder of AM Systems, but in this episode, we hear from the man behind the invention, the son of a Holocaust survivor, a former Navy engineer, and now a deep tech investor nurturing future innovators. Let's continue our conversation from where we left off. In the world of cloud computing, where everything can be stored in the cloud, what is the use of USB and does it still play a part?
So first of all, I think that, everything should go to the cloud. All the storage, everything. Every computer, every phone, of course, this is obvious, of course, but everything is going to be connected to the cloud. So the real importance of USB flash drive is really diminishing. So I used to tell the story of how did I invent it. I say I need to have a presentation in my pocket. Actually, coming now from Innovex, I still have a USB flash drive. That's my presentation because, sometimes you get into a position that, hey, it's the new computer, the one that you is not connected and they lost the latest version or whatever. But I think that the value of it is going down and everything would be at the cloud and connectivity, which seems to me not obvious in the past, is so obvious today that doesn't matter.
Well, I think we're also lucky enough, you from Israel, me from Taiwan.
Yeah,
and
it's countries where there is connectivity.
These are countries with infrastructure that allows for cloud computing.
Absolutely. Yep.
But there are places in the world where you go, you need to make a presentation, you might always have internet.
That's right.
That's where your flash drive is still very useful.
So when I come to Taiwan, no one should respect me for, hey, USB flash drive. What's the USB flash drive? Who needs it? Come on. If I go to Egypt or,
right.
in country in Africa, they would say, hey, USB flash drive, that's a great invention.
It's still very essential. No. Don't be modest. You're still one of the many giants that we step on to advance our society. So how do you view innovation hubs like Taiwan in the broader global tech ecosystem? As in, what unique contributions can we make? When you come to here every year or every other year, where do you see Taiwan go in the future?
So first, it's an amazing place. I think that in a way Taiwan is similar to Israel in the sense that the people in Taiwan are looking for progress, looking for how to expand knowledge and technology, how to use technology, how to build technology, which is great. There are things where Taiwan is very, very strong. People are disciplined, people are organized. If you look at Israel, I think that we do have a lot of innovation and a lot of entrepreneurship, but we are totally unorganized. We are totally not disciplined. You see in Israel, when years ago, the Jewish mother, there are no stories about Jewish mother, every Friday evening, that's Saturday evening dinner, it's very important in Judaism, the mother would ask her son, hey, how are you progressing with your studies? Because you have to be a physician or lawyer or accountant. And then nowadays it's, how about opening a startup? Yeah. Because I heard from the neighbors that their son is already opened the second startup. He sold the first one. And you didn't begin even the first one. Where are you? What's bad about you? Why are you so stupid? Yeah.
So success is being measured differently nowadays.
Absolutely. So in Israel, everybody is pushed to establish a startup. And yeah, it's good and bad because you go to a place and you find that, hey, half of the employees, actually their desire is not to be good employees, to have great product, make wonderful development. They practically want to study and to see how to run a company in order to open their own company.
Yeah. That's right. But behind the company, behind every CEO, you need hundreds, if not thousands of people who just keep their head down and do the hard work.
So Israel is very strong in entrepreneurship. Israel is very strong in establishing companies and selling them to the States. I think that the number of companies sold, Israeli companies, startups that are sold to US large companies, far behind, ahead of Taiwan. Just talking about numbers, we had in the last quarter an acquisition of an Israeli company which was established maybe 5 or 6 years ago called Wiz, doing cyber technology.
Okay.
Do you know how much money?
Billions?
$34 billion. Wow. $34 billion.
That's incredible. So it sounds like a country like Israel could really befriend a country like Taiwan.
So it's amazing. There's amazing synergy because we can come with the ideas, but we are very good on exercising the ideas.
Yeah.
So it's a great combination. And by the way, both countries are islands in a way. You are an island.
Yeah.
We are an island. We are an island because all the countries surrounding us. Some of them we do have even peace agreements. I'll give you an example. With Egypt and Jordan, we do have peace agreements, which are relatively good. No fighting, no war, nothing there. On the other side, issues of high-tech are very weak there. So for us, for high-tech in Israel, we are an island. Yeah, we do business with Taiwan, with US, with Europe. Similar things to you. You have neighbors. You have, of course, China.
I want to argue that we have Japan and South Korea, right? But
it's
you are more of an island.
You're still an island.
Well, yeah, we're a physical island, but for you, you are definitely a philosophical island.
That's right.
Much more so than Taiwan, I would say.
That's right. Yeah.
So at Computex this year, interesting that we said that because your keynote speech, focus, which you just conducted about 2 hours ago.
That's right.
Thank you for making your way here right after that.
My pleasure.
Your keynote speech is about technology, resilience in Israel. So what was the central message at this talk, and how did Israel play a part in this?
Okay. So if I try to summarize the whole speech into 3 sentences, that's right, yeah. So I talked about deep tech, actually. I said deep tech, if you compare deep tech to regular investments in startups, there is a big difference. In a regular software startups, things are happening very fast, and you can get a product to the market within a year or a couple of years if you do deep tech, which is semiconductors, cloud infrastructure, material, space, quantum, all these tough things which takes many years to develop and a lot of money. You may be in a position that you get a product to the market maybe 5 years after you have the idea, maybe 7 years. And then when you get to the market, it's a totally different market than the time you begin to think about it. And changes, and things are changing, and requirements are changing, and competition that, of course, you didn't see, they might come, without you knowing about them because they began development a year before you. It's much more important, more difficult, sorry. So, if you are an entrepreneur, and you go to a deep tech, your life are going to be much tougher. Clearly, when you succeed, the success story will be much larger.
Sure.
You can do NVIDIA, yeah. And I'm telling the story of NVIDIA with all the failures that NVIDIA had at the beginnings, and I'm admire Jensen, and you know what's his number one feature? He's a visionary, he's an entrepreneur, he's bold, but there is one more thing that is very, very much Jensen.
What's that?
It's resilience.
Resilience, okay.
And today, when I look I'm running now. I'm the managing partner of Go Ventures. We are a venture capital fund dealing with deep tech mostly. So when I look at the entrepreneur, first, the most important part when you invest is the entrepreneurs, the guys who are running the company, that are going to run the company. And of course, you look at their IQ, which is important, somehow. EQ, much more important. The ability to lead people, the ability to work with customers, the ability to get attention from investors and so on. But then there is something else which is very crucial, and people don't talk about it. That's the AQ, the adversity quotient.
Oh.
The ability to comply with tough life, with failures, with disasters, with disappointments, with insults sometimes. Yeah, you prepare amazing presentation, you go to the and he's sitting in front of you, he's late by 20 minutes, and maybe he doesn't listen to you, he's busy these things are happening.
Yeah.
And you have to say thank you very much and go on to the next meeting and get another no and another no and another no. And I got to see entrepreneurs that went to meet 80 VCs before they got their first money, but they didn't break up. And that's the difference between the one who make success or not. And the great thing about Jensen, if you know the story of how he failed originally with his first product that didn't suit the market, second product working for Sega, making a chip that the CEO of Sega came at the end of the development, said, it's not what we wanted, forget about it. And with the rest of the money somehow survive in order to bring the good first product into the market 6 years after establishment.
Yes.
6 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, that's resilience.
It is.
That's resilience. I think that somehow Israelis and Taiwanese are similar in their level of resilience. Maybe because in Israel we went through diaspora and Holocaust and over 2,000 years, Jews dealt with could not deal with agriculture in a world that was 98% of the economy was agriculture. They were not allowed to own land. Not sure you know it. They were kicked out of their houses. Every hundreds of years, somebody came say, "I don't want Jews. Get out of here."
Right.
Moved from Morocco, Spain, from Spain to Netherlands to Germany to Poland. I think that Taiwanese, many of the Taiwanese living here, first, many of them are born here, in an island, tough island. Many came here from their land, from the mainland. And the people who are living a place and go to another place usually are the guys who are more brave, bold, take the risks, go after their belief. And that's the combination here in this country. So I see that these two countries are built of people that actually have history, that actually constitute resilience.
I definitely agree. I think countries that are made by refugees, migrants,
America.
Certainly people who have been colonized, are people that are stronger, have more resilience.
That's right.
Now, here's my final question. And before I ask it, I just want to remind everyone that much like Taiwan, Israel has mandatory conscription service, military service. You guys do much longer, like 32 months for men.
No,
right?
we 36 months.
36 months, yeah.
And
3 years.
It's much longer because you have to do 3 years. Everybody has to do 3 years.
Yeah.
But then if you are becoming an officer, you have to add a year and a half.
Yeah.
And in cases like my case, where I went to study before joining the army as a Navy, actually, as engineer, I had to add 3 years on top of the 3. So it's 6 years of service. And, in my case, I like it. I like it so much. I was so it was so exciting. It was amazing, really, part of amazing days in my life. I was the head of the microprocessors department in the Navy.
Yes.
While everything became microprocessors based. So I got to see all these things are happening in front of my eyes. 20 projects. A lot of guys working for me, creating amazing stuff that were huge progress compared to what the Navy had before. Yeah, so we do have.
So that's why you stuck around for another year, right? You spent 7 years in
8.5 years.
8.5 years in the Israeli Navy.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question for a military man, right?
Sure.
So both countries
I'm not
have.
a military man.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a military man, but someone who has been in the military, because there's something to say about the discipline and the responsibility that's on your shoulders as someone who's been in the military. And I think that's a great thing for Taiwanese young, especially men who go through it, who are forced to go through it, to develop that habit. And the problem with what we were just talking about, countries that are made of migrants, refugees, are strong and resilient. However, after a few generations, we all tend to get complacent.
That's right.
So for future entrepreneurs who are born in a more comfortable, luxurious living, what are your advice for them? For someone who's resilient, you and Jensen Huang, both very resilient CEOs. What's your message for them, for future entrepreneurs who are wanting to start their own startups?
So I'm the guy who promote innovation, promote entrepreneurship, and you probably would expect me to say, guys, this is amazing, this is great, become entrepreneurs, establish companies. No, it's not my message. My message is, hey, before you go there, you have to understand that you are going to step into an unknown land. You're going to step into I would say, in a way, miserable life, day-to-day life, lack of sleep, lots of worries, many disappointments. You pick your best friend from high school or university as the VP of R&D. It takes you 8 months to understand it. Maybe he knows how to write very nice algorithms, but he has no clue on how to manage people. You will see such things every day. Customers that you think that they are going to buy, and then they postpone. Hey, the order never comes.
And that happens on a daily basis.
Every day, every hour. And you have to take decisions. And sometimes you have no clue about, am I right? Am I wrong? What does this investors want from me? What do I have to do in order to convince this guy to join? Lot of issues, lot of questions, and it's a tough life. Now, after saying that, ask yourself this question: are you ready for that or not? Can you do this or you can't? If you can't, hey, go to work for, I would say, IBM, or go to work for Google, Microsoft, work for them, become a manager, go home every day at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, take long weekends, take long vacations. That's okay, that's fine.
Can I stop you for a second and say,
sure.
You said go work for IBM and Google, but you didn't say to come work for Grove Ventures.
Of course not.
Because if you're not ready for a tough life.
for Grove, hey, if you work for one of our companies, you have to work very hard. They're all startups. Come on. The startup, you have to work really very hard. So anyway, that's fine. And no complaints. And it's okay if that's what you choose to. If you want to really go and take this burden, make this life as they are, in order to create a new product, a new company, a new idea, something that will make this world much better. Go ahead, do it. Because, despite all the difficulties, finally, when you succeed, it's like walking on clouds. It's such an amazing phenomena. It's such a great feeling that you really did it, and you really brought something new, and you have people that follow you, and you have thousands of people that maybe are employed and go home every day with the salary that you are paying them in a place that you generated, not just working at. So it's worthwhile. So my recommendation is ask yourself the right questions. If you want to do it with all your heart, and good luck.
Well, there you go. Dov's journey from microprocessor labs in Israel to product pitches in Taipei reminds us that every breakthrough is built on setbacks, detours, and grits. Across these 2 episodes, one message rings clear: that technology can change the world, but it's the people, stubborn, visionary, resilient people, who carry it forward. And maybe that's what Taiwan and Israel truly share, not just talent or tech, but a culture of perseverance born from constraints. Both are small in land but vast in ambition. Both face geopolitical uncertainties, and both have to learn how to turn scarcity into strength. Until next time, thank you for listening to Beyond the Reefs.